What's a life hack that's so simple yet so effective? You're shocked more people don't know about it. Most people have 10 pounds weighted blankets or can buy them for somewhat cheap, and they're enough to build muscle if you lift them every day. Lol. I've always been super unathletic, scrawny, and couldn't afford weights, so one day I just decided to put my weighted blankets in a pillowcase and do a few sets every day, and much to my surprise, after a week or so I began to see a noticeable difference. This kind of goes for every heavy object you can safely properly lift. You don't gotta spend over $100 to get toned besties. Thinking about your relationship with whatever substance you crave, whether it be alcohol, marijuana, or food, for example. This year I plan on reducing my MJ intake so that it's solely an end-of-day wind down aid. I will only drink socially, as alcohol impacts my heart rate when I sleep. I also drink primarily for the flavor or to appreciate the craft work of a great cocktail. So glad I no longer want to drink to get drunk. I've been eating more consciously for a while now, and plan to continue to do so. Improving your vocab. And I don't mean reading the dictionary. Just pay more attention to new words, idioms, or slang expressions you encounter. Like if you're watching a show and they say something you're unfamiliar with, don't brush it off. Pause, Google, then play. That's it. Every now and then, sneak in a new word you learned into a conversation. Next thing you know, your vocab is above average. Shows and movies you used to find complicated are now easier to understand. Before you buy something, check the price history. You can easily save 20-30 if you wait a few weeks. Some resources that I use every day. For Amazon products. For Switch games. For PC games. I look at thousands of products every day from my website that shows products at their lowest price. If you want to buy something, please check the price history. Reading the actual directions. For example, in this case, the question, what's a life hack that's so simple? The response is things that are good advice, but not simple. For instance, learning to cook is good advice, but not simple. Paying off your debts is good advice, but not simple, etc. Please read the directions. Applies to other parts of life too, not just this thread. ABC. Always be carrying. The idea is to help keep spaces tidier. Basically, when you're going from one room to another, take the thing that doesn't belong there to the room you're going to. Getting up from the couch to the kitchen? Bring that dirty dish to the sink. Heading upstairs? Bring that laundry basket up. I go in waves of actually following this, but when I do, I am amazed how much tidier spaces remain. Someone once told me the way they keep their bathtub clean is by scrubbing a little bit of it every time they take a shower. I've done that ever since, and cleaning the tub is no longer a chore. Also, as a woman with naturally oily hair, I heard Charlize Theron tell a journalist she only puts conditioner on the back of her hair and not the front. And I've done that same thing ever since. My sewing room has a number of electrical appliances that I plug in and unplug often. I have an extension lead for the main appliances and connect the extension lead and the appliance lead in a loose square knot that hangs at waist level in the room. That keeps the leads together and they can be plugged in and unplugged as needed. A consistent bedtime and 8 hours of sleep. Maybe it's not that simple, but since switching to be in bed around 11 and up about 7 a few years ago, I feel so much better and wish I'd have done it sooner. Used to be I'd stay up until 1-3 for a few days, then crash at 9 to catch up. Repeat. Was always tired and miserable. Try it for a week. You'll feel better. Brushing your teeth and shaving your face in the shower. Doing this out at the sink seems so silly. You're adding cleanup time and settling for a less effective hot water skin prep and rinse for the shaving part. Bonus, you can play rabid dog in the shower mirror, growling and foaming at the mouth, all without even needing to get bitten by a wild animal. If your car locks with a remote key fob, putting it to your head jaw makes it work from further away. It sounds like a lame prank to make someone look dumb, but it actually works. Perfect for when you're walking away from your car and have that "ah shit, did I hit the lock button?" moment, so you don't have to walk back towards your car to check. Eat healthy on your weekdays, eat what you want on your weekends. It isn't always easy when I'm busy, but it gives me something to look forward to, and I never feel like any foods are totally off limits. It also helps me take a step back and find out if my craving for a burger is real or just fleeting if I make myself wait a couple days for it. For men, if you follow your urethra all the way back to where the tube runs into your body cavity and then run your finger along it, from there to the base of the penis, you will clear the urethra of liquid and prevent yourself from getting that little drip right after you pee and put it away. I believe the majority of us are unaware of this. Aim for 7-8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. It affects your physical energy and correlatively how to show up in social interactions, how easily you can shut off the negative thoughts that come to mind, and how easily your brain can rid itself of waste that piles up within the day. Source: neuroscientist Matthew Walker. Why we sleep. Taking a walk on your lunch break. A real walk. Outside. Rain or shine or snow. It's a total game changer, and it will likely become your favorite part of the workday. There's something so refreshing about leaving the office and stretching your at something besides the four walls around you. Seriously. Try it. You're a guy who need to pee but can't get started? Hold your breath and really compress your lungs as if you're going to blow your birthday candles out. It may take a couple tries, but this will compress your bladder so you can get started. I assume this works for women as well. I do this as I'm walking up to a urinal. Check what services you subscribe to often. I know dozens of people who don't realize that they still pay for a stupid thing like Hulu that they're barely using once every other month. I did that for one of my cousin. He saved €110 a month in different stupid thing he subbed to, including some phone game stuff. Sell your car and move to a walkable or transit-oriented neighborhood. You will probably pay a little bit more for housing, but on balance you will save thousands of dollars a year not owning a car. On the rare occasions you actually need one, you can rent one for a fraction of the monthly expense of owning one. You can train your pets to remind you to take your medications. I give my cat and dog a treat every night at 9 p.m. I keep my pill box with their treats. Every night they both start to stare at me around 9 p.m. They will not let me forget that it's their treat time, and we all go together to get our treats. To prevent the pang of pain from turning on a bright light at night, close your eyes just before flipping the switch and let your eyelids filter the light for 3 to 5 seconds. The pupils adjust enough that you can then open your eyes and look around the living room comfortably. When tying a knot, just wrap one ear loop around the other one more time than most of us were taught before pulling the knot tight. This will keep the knot from coming loose by accident, but you can still pull it loose when you want to take your shoes off. When you have a pill to swallow, put a little bit of water in your mouth first before putting the pill in. Then swallow it down with more water. Honestly, it is so much smoother and more comfortable, just sails on down the throat like a little boat. Make a tiny pinhole lens with your fingers and hold it up between you and the bright smeared blob that is your LED clock at 4 in the morning. Now you can easily see that it is 4 in the morning. I assume it works at other times as well. Oh, priorities with food quality: organic meat and produce, less sugary stuff. With the inflation, it's barely more expensive and so much better for you, not to mention tastes better. Watermelon that actually tastes like watermelon, yes please! Getting rid of the cups, you get a mouthful of water and then stretch your upper body back as far as it can go, making sure you stretch your diaphragm. Then, you swallow the water and say goodbye to the hiccups. Works 95% of the time. When you get your paycheck, pay yourself first, meaning put some in an IRA, savings, etc. Unreal how people live paycheck to paycheck. I shouldn't have to. My brother is a dentist and lives this way. Stop eating out, yeesh. You know those small disposable paper containers at fast food places to hold ketchup? You can expand them to hold 3x the ketchup. Useful if you're like me and see fries as less a side and more as a ketchup delivery platform. If you're a guy, after you pee, take 2 fingers and give a nice push upwards on your taint right below your balls. You'll get those last few drops out and sometimes an additional stream you didn't know you had in you. When looking at recipes online, click the print link. This cuts out the unnecessary backstory and random musings. You can also save the recipe as a PDF to your computer, or even just the link to the printable version. It takes around 60 rounds of repetition for something to become a routine, so if you manage to fight through the first 60 times of whatever you want to make a routine, chances are it will become much easier then. Set up auto pay to pay your bills. I pay as many as I can on a credit card that gives me cash back. Others, I set up to get paid from the checking account at my credit union. Free to do, and alleviates stress. You don't need to worship where you are wanted. There are many churches that are inclusive and welcoming to the LGBTQ community. You don't need to stay at a church to change it or hide who you are to fit in. Stop going out and buying lunch at work. Make your own and bring it in. It's much cheaper, and far more satisfying as you get the food you want, not whatever is available from wherever at the time. App blockers: if scrolling is a problem for you, you can block apps at a specific time of day or limit hours, or even set them up so you can't use an app PGX until you use a different app, for example Duolingo. Go for a walk every day. Even if it's just a 20-minute strip around the block. I know Reddit says this isn't true, but numerous studies have shown the positive effects of exercise on someone's mental health. Don't buy things on credit. If you can't afford to save up the money for the things that you want now, then you won't be able to afford to pay the cash plus interest for those things later. Insist upon 8 hours of sleep a night. I was in a bad mood for 40 years until I started making sleep a priority. Just because you can function on 6 hours or less, doesn't mean you should. Before you open a tub of cashews nuts, hold it upside down and shake it for 10 seconds. All the seasoning makes its way to the top. Then gently tip over and peel off the lid and enjoy. Put aside 10 of your earnings, whether high or low, no matter what your level of income, and don't touch it until retirement. Put it in a low-cost index fund. Guaranteed $1 million. Brush and floss. People know about it, they just fail to do it. Years later, they complain on Reddit they can't find a dentist willing to fix their teeth for free. Brush and floss. Snooze alarms are not your friend. They're training you to turn off ignore the alarm, and disrupting your sleep. If you use the snooze every day, just set the alarm to the later time. Establish a schedule for before you exercise. Every time I'd visit the gym, I perform the same routines. Those tiny pre-workout routines just spur me on when I'm not feeling inspired. Close one eye when you need to turn on a light at night time. Then when you turn the light off again, you'll still be able to see because that I remained accustomed to the dark. Drinking water in lieu of sodas, coffee, alcohol helps lose weight. I feel like people know this but so blatantly ignore it and then complain they can easily lose a few pounds. Slow cooker. You spend a half an hour a week or less of active effort making food that's both far tastier and far healthier than anything prepackaged or from a restaurant. Submerge a Ziploc bag in a bowl of water until only the zipper part is above the water, then close it to get all the air out. Good for saving space when freezing meats.